So this is my third podcast recommendations video. If you see my other ones, I will link them. I might make a little playlist for you guys if you're interested, but focus on this one because I think this one is going to be the best. These are going to be my favorite podcasts at the minute. These are podcasts that are perfect to listen to while you're cooking, while you're doing a hot girl walk, or while you're doing your morning routine, etc. All that kind of stuff. I really like something that's really motivating and puts me in a great mindset and doesn't have much negativity to it, and definitely doesn't include any like toxic diet culture talk, but is still to do with wellness and everything like that. I feel like I'm quite picky in having a favorite podcast, but these ones definitely all fit that. And I do want to do some special mentions. In my other videos, I've mentioned lots of different podcasts. Some of them are no longer favorites, some of them are no longer being made, but some that I still really love that I want to make sure I do mention are Morning Ray, New Wellness Cafe, and of course Pretty Basic, which are all top 3 favorites. So first we have the I Love You So Much podcast by Kenzie Elizabeth. This podcast covers a wide range of topics from lifestyle and wellness to interviews to Q&As, and one of my favorite parts is when she talks about books and reading. Another great thing about this podcast is that there are so many episodes, so if you want to binge it, there is tons to listen to. And I also really love how real Kenzie is in her episodes. The things she talks about are just so motivating but also realistic. This is going to be the perfect podcast to listen to if you're a girl in your 20s. The next podcast is Not Your Typical by Caitlin Nolan. This is mainly a health, wellness and self-care podcast. So again, this is a theme with my favorite podcast, but I love how real Caitlin is about her wellness journey, and whenever I'm listening to Not Your Typical, I'm always writing things down that really resonate with me. I feel like there's just so many really good and knowledgeable takes on this podcast. I also really like that the episodes are usually quite short, under 30-35 minutes, so I love to put this on while I'm doing my morning routine and making my morning coffee. It's sort of the perfect length of time. The next podcast is Life with Mariana. Mariana Hewitt is one of the co-founders of this skincare brand Summer Fridays. You guys have probably heard of them, and the podcast is mainly different episodes of Mariana talking with different people in her network, from influencers to other brand founders and everything like that. So first of all, she has some really interesting and incredible guests and they talk about such interesting topics, but I also just love Mariana's opinions as she's a brand founder and an influencer. It's a really interesting take, and she covers some really interesting topics from health, and then there's lots of beauty stuff as she owns like a beauty skincare brand, and then there's also more stuff around routine and all stuff like that. Okay, this next podcast might be a bit more niche, but it is the Influence Community. This is one of my favorite podcasts at the minute, and it is by 2 fashion influencers. I hope I'm pronouncing their names right. It is Alyssa Larson and Danielle Glans, and they just get really deep into the whole world of influencing and social media, particularly Instagram. They are so incredibly transparent about the world of social media and being an influencer. So this is obviously really interesting if you are doing content creation or interested in content creation, but also if you're just interested in social media and marketing as well. They tell really good anecdotes and stories and do Q&As, but they also give really great tangible tips and advice. And the last podcast I'm going to recommend to you guys is Mood by Lauren Elizabeth. This is a lifestyle podcast, but this one covers a lot of topics from anxiety to career, and then there's also Q&As and advice segments as well as other things. And although I enjoy all the guests and topics on this podcast, my favorite part has to be her mood boosters segment, which she does at the beginning of every podcast, where she talks about different things that are really making her days better and talks about why they're helping and how they're good for you, and it sort of just gives you inspiration on how to improve and boost your days. All of these podcasts just inspire me and motivate me so much, and they always make me feel more positive, which is why I love them, and I think you guys will love them as well. And honestly, I cannot shut up, so I'm so tempted in the future to make some sort of podcast or go as a guest on something. If I could, I would love that, because I don't know if you can tell, I am quite chatty. But yeah, overall I just wanted to keep this really short and sweet for you guys, so you have some really good recommendations. And if you guys have any recommendations, I'm always looking out for some new ones, so do leave them down below. And I've been listening to a lot of new podcasts, so yeah, if you guys want a part 4 to my podcast recommendations, let me know down below. And if you like this video, please do like, and please do subscribe, because I would love to see you guys around next time. And yeah, just thank you so much for watching.